wish upon a star. Makes no difference who you are. Anyone you'd like to hear will come to you. Ah, hello there. We're here at Monstropolis. We will now explain all the characters from Monsters, Inc., starting with James P. Sullivan, but we call him Sully. As the son of legendary scarer Bill Sullivan, James P. Sullivan always knew he wanted to be a scarer too, but Sully wasn't always the hard worker he is today. As a student in scare school, he was rather lazy, relying solely on his father's good name to get through his classes. But getting kicked out of scare school taught Sully his lesson, and he worked hard to make a name for himself in the field. Having risen up from a job in the mailroom, Sully became Monsters, Inc.'s top scarer. Like any good monster, Sully was raised to believe that children are dangerous, but when a little girl slipped into the monster world, everything Sully knew was turned on its ear. With the help of the girl, Sully learned that a child's laugh is even more powerful than a scream. These days, Sully heads up the laugh floor at Monsters, Inc.
Did you know that?
In Monsters, Inc., Sully had 2,320,413 individual hairs. In Monsters University, he had almost 5.5 million hairs. Sully weighs almost 500 pounds, and he appears in the end credits of Cars. He is also in Tokyo Mater with a car version of Mike.
Now you know.
Say hello to Mike Wazowski. As a child, Mike dreamed of being a scarer. His hero was the great scarer Frank McKay. Mike even made it into the prestigious scare school at Monsters University, but Mike didn't have what it took to be a scarer. He just wasn't scary enough. He did end up being a great teacher and motivator. Mike turned that into a job at Monsters, Inc. as a scare coach to his best friend and roommate Sully. Mike is a feisty, quick-witted, one-eyed green ball of a monster. As much as Mike loved scaring, he loves a good joke, even more, which has turned out to be a good thing. Mike is now the top laugh collector at Monsters, Inc.
Did you know that?
The original pitch for Monsters, Inc. didn't include Mike. In an early animation test, Mike had no arms and would have picked things up with his feet, and was named by legendary Muppet performer Frank Oz.
Now you know.
Here is Mr. Henry J. Waternoose, a large crab-like monster with multiple eyes. Henry J. Waternoose used to be a CEO of Monsters, Inc. He was the latest in a line of several generations of Waternooses to run the company. This grandfatherly monster was entirely dedicated to the company. He worked as a scarer for years and personally trained the top monsters working in the business, including his protege, James P. Sullivan. But today's children aren't easily scared. Waternoose could feel the pressure mounting, and he was desperate to ensure that his family's company survived. Eager to find any way to keep his company afloat, Waternoose partnered with scarer Randall Boggs to kidnap a young child called Boo. When his plot was revealed, he was arrested by the Child Detection Agency, CDA. Here is Roz. Slow-moving, slow-talking, but oddly quick-witted, Roz is a slug-like monster who works as the dispatch manager at Monsters, Inc. Roz lives for paperwork, and if there's one thing she can't stand, it is an improperly filed scare report. Mike is a repeat offender, so Roz keeps a watchful eye on him. You know, I'm watching, always watching. As it turns out, Roz is actually an undercover agent for the CDA, the Child Detection Agency. She nabs Waternoose when his plot is revealed and shreds Boo's door so the girl can never enter the monster world again. Say hello to George Sanderson. George is a former classmate of Mike and Sully's at Monsters University, and a scarer at Monsters, Inc. George is a good scarer, but he's bad at avoiding contact with children. As a result, he is repeatedly taken into the custody of the Child Detection Agency and fully shaved down. Luckily for George, he is a better laugh collector than a scarer, and he eventually finds a place on the laugh floor where he can actually interact with children. Here are Smitty and Needleman. Smitty and Needleman are a pair of maintenance workers on the scare floor at Monsters, Inc. Smitty is a green slug-like monster with 4 arms, while Needleman is a tall, skinny yellow monster with a short tail and a large red nose. The two are constantly quarreling and pushing each other around. Although not a great trait on the scare floor, their antics actually work quite well on the laugh floor. Meet the Yeti. Although the Yeti now resides in the Himalayas, he wasn't always a member of the human world. In fact, the Yeti used to work in the mailroom at Monsters, Inc., but the Yeti was unable to follow the cardinal rule of the mailroom: don't mess with the mail or peek into it. As a result, he was banished from the monster world, but this doesn't bother the Yeti. He likes his new life and has even made friends with Bigfoot. This is Celia May. Celia May is the receptionist at Monsters, Inc. Though she does have live snakes for hair, she's no Medusa. Celia is sweet, beautiful, and quite beguiling, particularly to Mike. Things between Mike and Celia were getting pretty serious until Boo's sudden arrival created chaos in their world. Luckily, Celia is very forgiving. Once she learns the truth, she happily reunites with her googly bear. Here is Randall Boggs, a calculating lizard-shaped monster with 8 arms and legs and a mouthful of sharp teeth. Randall has the chameleon-like ability to blend into his surroundings. This talent made him the second best scarer at Monsters, Inc., but second best wasn't good enough for the ruthlessly ambitious Mr. Boggs. He was willing to do whatever it took to knock Sully out of the #1 spot, including kidnapping a child and framing Sully. Randall talks like the slimy monster he is. His voice is raspy, low, almost whisper-like at times, and he makes no bones about hating Sully. While Sully is full of modest tranquility, Randall is oozing with hatred and jealousy. Randall was Boo's assigned scarer. Now, thanks to Mike and Sully, he won't be scaring anyone anymore.
Did you know that?
In earlier drafts, Randall was named both Swit and Ned. He has a nephew named Rex, and he squints to see because he isn't wearing his glasses. He prefers not to wear them because when he camouflages himself, his glasses are still visible.
Now you know.
And this is Boo. Boo, as she is known in the monster world thanks to Sully, is an adorable, vivacious little girl who takes her journey through her closet door in the monster world in stride. She is undaunted by the odd landscape and takes an immediate liking to her new friends, Sully and Mike. Throughout her experience, Boo remains blissfully unaware of the potential danger she is in. While Sully scrambles to return her home, Boo herself is in no particular hurry. She's having way too much fun. The one thing that does scare Boo is her assigned scarer, Randall. Luckily, she has Sully and Mike, or Kitty and Mike Wazowski, as she calls them, to keep her safe.
Did you know that?
Though it is never said in the film, Boo's real name is Mary and was played by an actual 3 or 2-year-old voice actor, Mary Gibbs. And Boo herself is 2 years old. In an early draft of the film, Sully befriended an 8-year-old boy named Raymond, but this was later changed to the adorable little Boo, or Little Mary.
Now you know.
And those are all the Monsters, Inc. characters. Join me next time, and we'll learn about the characters from this film's prequel, Monsters University.